Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you.
With your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
On a certain Sabbath, Jesus went into the synagogue and taught, and there was a man there whose right hand was withered. The scribes and the Pharisees watched him closely to see if he would cure on the Sabbath, so that they might discover a reason to accuse him. But he realized their intentions and said to the man with the withered hand, "Come up and stand before us." And he rose and stood there. Then Jesus said to them, "I ask you, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath rather than to do evil? To save life rather than to destroy it?" Looking around at them all, he then said to him, "Stretch out your hand." He did so, and his hand was restored. But they became enraged and discussed together what they might do to Jesus. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord.
Today is the feast of Saint Peter of Saint Peter Claver. He was a Jesuit missionary, and he ministered to African slaves who arrived at a South American port known as Colombia, where slave trade was being meted out, and Saint Peter decided he wanted to baptize people to bring to them Christ. He baptized over 300,000 people in his time there of 38 years. He tirelessly held the withered hand, you could say, of the slave trade and that oppression. And so a man whose right hand was withered, his right hand, the sign of reverence, the sign of the cross we make with our right hand, not the left. We bow on our knees, our right knee, as a sign of reverence. The priestly blessing given with his right hand. The swearing of an oath with the right hand. The right hand is favored by God, so to speak, for sacred things. And so Jesus says to the man with the withered hand, he says, "Come here." St. Bede suggested that this man with the withered hand is symbolic of mankind that has been corrupted by serious sin. And you hear it in our first reading today. St. Paul is talking about someone who was in an incestuous relationship where they have compromised the beauty and the dignity of what it is to have a good married life and proper sexual morality. This man fell from grace, and he is a model for grave sinners. It says it even more descriptively in Psalm 137. "If I forget you, Jerusalem, let my right hand wither." That verse, commentators say, is a sign of someone who has fallen in deep sin and fallen away from the Lord. He forgot the temple. He forgot worship. And he did everything that offends God. Jesus desires to bring us forgiveness, however. And he desires to lead us to a restored right hand. Yes, it is very possible that all of us here may have somehow soiled our right hand, myself included. And so, Jesus comes to the scene to restore this man whose right hand has withered. But we also see this happening to us when we were baptized. Our parents brought us so that the right hand would not wither. In the Eucharist, we stretch out our hands as Jesus asked this man whose withered hand, he said, stretch out your hand. And so we do stretch out our hand for the Holy Eucharist to undo the evil and to restore the good. In the sacrament of reconciliation, the priest extends his hand to come to the assistance of the sinner so that their right hand may be restored. You see the beauty of the sacraments and their effect. And in the sacrament of the sick, especially for those who are dying, they cannot perhaps extend their hand because of their illness and infirmity, or perhaps be at the edge of death. And so the priest with the right hand delivers the unction of the sacrament of the sick to ensure a healing and salvation for this one who is dying. In most cases, the dying are unable to speak, and so we're not sure what their soul looks like, but we can simply give them the sacrament and presume that God will deal with them in mercy. The restoration of our withered hand requires, however, initiative. Come, stand here, Jesus says to Jesus. We cannot come to the sacraments, and we cannot come to the fullness of the right hand without making an effort of our own to come forward, to stand before Christ, plea for his mercy if necessary, or to simply stand before him in prayer, knowing that you have joined him and he has joined you. The restoration of the right hand is also beautifully expressed as we prepare to receive Holy Communion today. Lord, I am not worthy to receive you, but only say the word, and my soul shall be healed.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui aquam meruisti portare, alleluia, resurrexit sicut dixit, alleluia.